to do that from your good self. To ask the Scottish Government whether it will provide an update on how much it estimates will be paid in compensation for the properties to be compulsorily purchased to further the progress of the dualling of the A96 between Inverness and Nairn, including the Nairn bypass, and when that process will be completed.
Cabinet Secretary Fiona Hyslop.
Completion of the statutory process of the A96 dualling Inverness to Nairn, including Nairn bypass, last year clears the way for the Scottish Ministers to take forward the final stage of the process to acquire the land required to construct the scheme, and Transport Scotland is pressing ahead with the procedural steps to make this happen. It is currently expected that the process to take title to the land will be completed in the coming months, and the current estimate of compensation for land to be acquired for the scheme is approximately £12 million.
Fergus Ewing.
Presiding Officer, Scotland was promised in 2016 that the made orders were to have been published in that year for this project. They were published last year, 8 years later. Even now, there is no timetable, no plan, and no indication as to when the Nairn bypass will actually be completed. Will the Cabinet Secretary at last bring a statement to this Parliament setting out such a plan? And if she won't, does she not really think an apology is due?
Cabinet Secretary.
So, as Minister for Transport and Cabinet Secretary, I have progressed the A96 Inverness to Nairn and including Nairn bypass. I have ensured that we've made progress on the made orders completion and on the acquiring of the land. We're acquiring the land because we intend to dual that part of the A96 first. That is happening, and as I explained to the public meeting in Nairn last summer, the timetable of doing so will be determined by two particular things. One, the method of procurement, whether it's capital or mutual investment model. We are considering the A96 part of the road that we've just been discussing, along with consideration of the A9 and looking at the mutual investment model, and on completion of that we'll be in a position to determine what the timetable will be, and more than happy to then share that with Parliament. The other aspect is whether it will be one whole completed procurement or whether it will be separated into different parts of contracts. There's a strong argument that was put to me at the public meeting in Nairn that the Nairn bypass might be done separately and differently. All these things will impact on the timetable, and that's what we will consider. And when we've managed to assess all of those points, I will come back to Parliament.
Thank you. Question 4, Kenneth Gibson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. To ask the Scottish Government for its assessment of the importance of the A737 to North Ayrshire.
Cabinet Secretary.
We appreciate fully the importance of the A737 to North Ayrshire and indeed to Scotland. That is why this Government has invested approximately £14 million in the construction of the Dalry bypass and the Den realignment project. Through the second Strategic Transport Projects Review, we've assessed the future needs of the Ayrshire and Arran region, which has resulted in a number of recommendations. These include focusing on maintaining the trunk roads in the area, including the A737, so they remain safe, resilient and adapted to deal with the impacts of climate change.
Kenneth Gibson.
I thank the Cabinet Secretary for that response. Despite comparable levels of traffic to the busy sections of the A9 and serving some of Scotland's most deprived communities, the mostly single-carriage A737 will receive a fraction of the investment in A9 dualling, forecast to total £3.7 billion. Does the Cabinet Secretary agree that enhanced safety and improved connectivity boosts economic growth? And will she therefore commit to ensuring the new Head Street and Balmoral Road junctions at Beith, essential for public safety and promised for many years, are progressed to completion?
Cabinet Secretary.
So the Scottish Government is committed to taking forward the design of the traffic signalisation of the A737 Head Street Wardrobe Street Junction. Is correct to identify the impact on the economy of good transport connections. As part of the detailed design for that, further geotechnical investigation is required to accommodate the upgraded traffic signal junction at the A737 Head Street Wardrobe Street. This investigation is programmed to commence later in 2025. That will inform the design and construction of the signalised junction. Is currently programmed for 26-27 financial year, subject to available funding and completion of the design.